It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GTUK F1 podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, David.
What? What? Sorry, I was watching a race and I've just woke up here. What's going on?
So, yeah, Monaco weekend.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, Monaco.
And obviously, before we get into it, don't forget you get the podcast Spotify, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcasts. These episodes are going to be releasing every Wednesday when there is a race weekend at 3 p.m. That's that out of the way.
That's the interesting bit.
Yeah, well, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's be honest here. We're here building up to. We can TLDR this with now. Very exciting at the beginning of the race, went to nothing afterwards.
Yeah.
But we'll do this in the usual method, which is we'll try and go in order. We'll probably wander off on a tangent or two.
Probably.
Chris will rant about the FIA.
I want his helmet.
And there'll be plenty of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any practice sessions. With the joys of a bank holiday weekend, we were flat out busy at work, so I didn't get. I got to watch qualifying later on in the day.
See, the weird thing was during practice, Mercedes, I know you, as we keep saying, you never ever take this as gospel, but Merc were looking strong.
Yeah, you can read. I don't know, never say take it as zero, but at the same time, say if we had a quid for every time that Red Bull have looked shit in first practice and still romped home to a victory at the far end of it, we'll be able to afford to be on Apple. So
well, there is that.
You take it as a testing depends on many things, as you said, what the cars are doing. But I suppose Monaco is also a great leveler of a circuit where a car that's not quite as quick won't be as big a disadvantage.
No. But
you go to somewhere like Monza, you're down on speed, you're a chicane.
Yeah.
You go to Monaco, you're a chicane anyway, but no bugger can get past you.
But Monaco's, a lot of people say, oh, it should be on the calendar, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't think it should be on the main calendar as an event. I mean,
I've said, make it. I understand the spectacle of it. I understand that. I get, but make it like an exhibition weekend, a non-championship event.
Yeah.
And maybe play with it. Don't have a full race. Have maybe a sprint length race and do other things on the weekend. Maybe get some classic cars out. Almost imagine Goodwood, but at Monaco.
Yeah.
Something I just don't think the cars, and it's not Monaco's fault. I mean, short of starting to flatten buildings, there's not a lot you can do. But the cars are just so big now.
That's what I was about to say there. The cars, they're just too wide now.
As K-Mag and Perez discovered, but we'll get on to that at the correct time.
And, you know, Red Bull weren't looking so hot this weekend. Red Bull, I think, are now struggling. If I'm being honest.
Well, let's be honest. The one kink in their armour last year was Singapore, wasn't it? The Red Bull traditionally doesn't like slower circuits.
If the Red Bull wasn't exactly entirely great at Imola either.
Still won.
Oh, yeah, not by much.
It's still won, like, so let's not by much. It doesn't matter. The score sheet doesn't say not by much. The score sheet just says won.
Yeah. Well, Monaco is always the weird one. Because this is where Monaco, that, like you say, cars that haven't been doing so well, i.e. Aston Martin's Mercedes seemed to
I
perk.
saw Williams into that list.
Well, yeah, seemed to perk up a bit, but then the
Well, I said,
likes.
it's just a lack of speed is not a major. It's not a big crux
Mm,
because the circuit's not that fast anyway. So
well, no.
to me, it's still bloody mind blowing how they don't just end up ricocheting off the barriers immediately. When you see on boards, it still blows my mind that they can do that.
Oh yeah, but you know, like same again for like practice 2 as well. So I am basically leading to practice 2 very quickly.
As I said, I didn't see any of the practice sessions, so
You know,
I cannot.
Sauber weren't on top of things, really. Sauber were on top. Danny Rick didn't exactly cover himself in glory again. Oscar seemed to struggle in practice too. The Red Bulls were looking a little bit stronger, and obviously, yeah, again, there was a Mercedes up there of Hamilton, and it's like, okay, maybe the Merc's onto something here with this track. And then I didn't see practice 3. So I don't know exactly what happened, but looking at the results, yeah, again, something must have happened with Bottas, did it? Because apparently, according to this, he'd only done 2 laps and that's it. Didn't even set a time.
As I say, I didn't see any of.
But yeah,
any of practice.
like I say, yet again, Danny Ricciardo not doing himself in any glory there. But then you had, obviously, you had Leclerc starting to prove a point. Max started to bounce back. Hamilton, third on the timing sheets. And it's like, ooh, is the Mercedes going to be a challenge here? Are things about to be very spicy come qualifying? Now, I'm going to let you lead qualifying.
Right, okay.
Chuck him off very quickly because I don't think he expected it.
No, I didn't, and I did see qualifying, and nothing overly star. We had a couple of near wall scrapes. I mean, obviously the big story of qualifying came out after qualifying, which was the disqualification of the 2 Hasses for an infringement on the DRS system.
It wasn't just one Haas, by the way. It was both Hasses.
Yeah, which shows it was obviously a design issue. It was obviously a design fault.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one car was just set up wrong. There was clearly a problem with the part.
Yeah.
Now, they were allowed to race again afterwards because they were allowed into the race under, I believe it's Stewart's discretion at that point, isn't it?
It was, yeah. But there's quite a few big shocks, really, in qualifying. One being Perez.
Yeah, Perez, let's be honest, was struggling, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, heck, he qualified behind Sargent. That's saying a lot.
I know. Wasn't much in it, but I mean, there wasn't. I mean, Sargent could have even out-qualified bloody Alonso looking at this.
0.001 of a second.
Yeah. The gap was a little bit bigger to Perez, but...
Yeah. But other than that, they're pretty much it's... I said the Red Bull didn't look good for. Max wasn't good for. We knew that. But
no.
Leclerc's been on because of a go. I mean, Piastri, fair play to him.
Yeah, but I didn't. Honestly, I expected Norris in second over Piastri.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, there's, one of the Mercs was up there.
Well, both, because they was just split by the Verstappen,
by
wasn't
Max, yeah. But
it? Albon getting, let's say Williams, Albon getting to 9th as well is a great result.
exactly. But Gasly, even Alpine, slight improvement there.
Kind of undid it all later, but
Yeah, just a bit.
foreshadowing.
I mean, I'm not gonna, Haas didn't do too bad. It was just
Just the car wasn't exactly legal.
yeah. I expected a little bit stronger from Carlos, but not gonna grumble that he got in third. But it was just, I knew Max didn't have it. I knew he didn't have that Monaco pole. I don't know what it is with that Red Bull right now. It's just something's not right because he's not gelling with it properly. He looked, literally, past races, he looked unstoppable. Come, like, Imola, he wasn't overly confident with it. And come
But still
Monaco,
managed to get a win.
yeah, but then come Monaco, it just fell apart. And let's see how the Red Bull reacts when we come to Canada as well.
I would think it would be more in their wheelhouse because we're back to high speeds.
Yeah. But let's see how McLaren do as well in Canada.
Well, that car is looking fast. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, the one thing I will point about the McLaren is it looked lovely.
Yeah, that centre livery does look. It's still not quite good as the Gulf livery they ran last year.
No, but it's
Not.
still.
But no, I will give you credit. That centre-inspired livery did look nice.
Yeah.
I must admit, even though I'm not a big McLaren fan, I'm tempted by one of those yellow and green polo tops that some of the team were wearing.
You got a mortgage.
I know, because you get to official F1, it will be, ooh.
Yeah, you got a mortgage.
I guess you've already looked.
Yeah, I've had a look. Not gonna lie. I've had a look myself. I mean, yeah, there's 20% off selected lines, but on certain
Jesus.
collections, but even
The standard orange one's 70 quid.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's probably somebody on Sheen doing them for a tenner.
I mean, depends.
Not that I condone that kind of thing, folks.
It depends where you're looking, though. That's the thing.
This is on the store on the. Because I was on the F1 site for the results. This is the store for that.
Yeah. Because I mean, you do. Obviously, you do have the authentic. I like the authentic stuff. I know we're going off a bit topic here, but some of the authentic stuff is ridiculous.
I already found them down to 45 quid, and that's off the McLaren store. So.
Yeah. But I get why they price things the way they do. But
I kind of don't, because to me it swings and roundabouts. If you knocked it down a little bit, you might find you sell a bit more.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you make more money by selling more.
But it's just like, even the model cars, the actual model of the cars.
Cheaper to buy an actual McLaren.
The Sparks model's like 61 quid with cord. It's
madness. What we're saying is F1, if you're listening, lower the price of your merch.
Yeah. Because, like I say, I can't even. I'm guessing they haven't actually got any of the.
Like I say, if you search for the stuff, you get the actual McLaren own shop, not the one on F1, and they've got it in there. but none on the F1 store.
Fair enough. You know, and it's just, yeah. But then there's a problem with the merch. It's, yeah, again, you're a captive audience. They know people will pay it.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Look at the fucking ticket prices.
Yeah, that's another debate entirely.
Well, yeah, just not go over this. This is off on tangent yet again, but hey ho. So, obviously, starting grid, them two were the two houses were at the back, and then the two Saubers, Perez. It was okay. Yeah, I'll let you lead with it.
Well,
but one thing I do want to say, you were on about making an exhibition weekend Monaco.
Yeah.
I forgot to add this in. You know what they should give the drivers?
Go on.
Give them fucking go-karts.
I thought you were going to say Dodgems based on the first lap.
Give them go-karts. Make them race go-karts around the track. Then see who the drivers are. But half of them probably haven't done karting. So it could make it quite interesting.
Done karting, we know it for Alonso's case, it was about 80 years ago, so...
Yeah, well, Norris still does messes around with his karts.
I think Alonso actually owns a kart racing circuit in Spain, doesn't he?
I don't know.
If I recall, I think it's like his hobby is like he owns a circuit.
But yeah, give him go-karts. Let him go around in go-karts. That would be quite interesting. God knows how they keep track of them, but hey ho.
Hi. Anyway, the start. So,
yeah.
Off the line, the two Ferraris definitely got the edge.
They did.
Sainz got nicely up alongside. Now, I think it was Sainz and Oscar that sort of almost didn't help what happened behind. Because unfortunately, through turn one, I believe it was Sainz's rear wheel made a small amount of contact with the side of Oscar's car and actually gave him a puncture.
Give himself a puncture, yeah.
So as he was going up the hill, now I didn't say give himself, to me that was just a racing incident, that was a 50-50 first corner. Now he started to slow the hill, now I wonder if that's part of what caused the concertina behind, and people are going to think this is a bias for me, this is, as new as I can, I think K-Mag went for a gap that was never going to exist.
You're fucking right, K-Mag went for a gap that didn't exist.
Drivers know up there, even though there is a couple of corners, it's basically you straight lining.
Yeah, but
Perez was always going to follow a straight line there, and K-Mag, he didn't have his car anywhere near enough alongside.
No.
In my book.
No.
Like I say, there's probably K-Mag fans there who claim that Perez turned in on him, and will argue this one out to the death.
But where the hell is Perez? Where the hell was Perez supposed to go? K-Mag was on his right-hand side. Hulkenberg was on his left.
Yeah, but Hulkenberg wasn't actually up alongside, was he? Hulkenberg was slightly behind.
Yeah, but he's still on his left-hand side.
Yeah. But yeah, the point is that, to me, I feel that I'm willing to give you the racing incident. It's first lap, 20 cars trying to climb that hill. But at the same time, there's more on K-Mag than there is on Perez in my book.
There's a lot more on K-Mag.
Now, the ultimate stupidity, though, and I tell you what, I literally, the first thing I thought when, because obviously poor Nico basically to me made the wrong move. Nico should have done what Zhao did, which is he just stopped and let it all develop in front of him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Hulkenberg tried to fire through a gap, got tagged by, I think it was the back of
Perez's car. Spun
him round. The two Hasses then kissed.
Yeah, because one of them went up on the other one's.
Slightly rode up the front wing.
Yeah.
Perez's car was destroyed, let's be honest. I think he had like one wheel still attached.
He could have turned the fucking thing into a Robin Reliant.
He could have turned it into a bathtub.
Oh my
god. All that's left of it.
What a mess.
I was so glad when you saw Perez stood next to it.
Oh, I bet he wanted to lamp him.
I don't know. I tell you what, my first thought is that as it settled, because let's be honest, the cameras followed Science's car.
Yeah.
Then we got yellow flags. We saw a shot of a load of debris.
Yeah.
Then we saw the shot of the cars. And the second I saw it was two Hasses, I thought, I wish to God Gunther was still in charge of Haas at this moment. Because we would have had some of the greatest interviews I think we'd ever seen in our lives.
Oh my God, Gunther would have been spitting feathers.
I don't think he'd have needed a microphone, but you just heard him. I mean, I'd love to have been in Haas's debrief at the end of that day.
Oh, could you imagine?
And then you'd have to hightail it quickly down to Alpine's debrief at the end of that day.
But could you have imagined quickly? Could you have imagined if Gunther had still been there, Netflix would have been on board.
My
For
God,
Drive.
we'd have got a full season out of that.
For Drive to Survive, holy crap.
But yeah, like I said, there was actually about 3 separate incidents happened on this first lap.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it in stages just to try and make it a little bit easier to. So we'll start off with the Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen. Like I say, well done to Zhao for being able to just back off.
Yeah, but the thing that annoyed me was what took them so long to chuck that red flag. They saw the debris. What the hell took them?
I don't think it was like, what was it, half a lap? It wasn't like he's been in the past. I don't think it was.
No.
I think they were waiting for clear confirmation of exactly what had happened.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously, because first of all, the first thing we saw was Sainz come sliding to a halt in front of the casino.
Yeah.
Now, he did well, keeping it out of the wall.
Yep.
Okay, then he cut back and we saw what had gone on there, and it was red flag fairly fast, but not before the two Alpines managed to trip over each other.
I would not like to have been...
The trouble is, it's Alpine again.
Yes, but I wouldn't like to have been Esteban. Apparently, so I heard, the boss of Alpine had been quite negative about Esteban to French reporters.
No, it was Esteban's car that was the one that got flipped up in the air, wasn't it?
That could have been so nasty.
Oh yeah, especially as they were at the complex next to the water.
Yeah.
But just Alpine again. I mean, think back to Australia last year.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Ironically, Sky Sports F1 put on YouTube just today compilation of all the times Alpines have crashed into each other. Honestly, it was all Esteban's teammates.
Hmm.
Because it was like there was a lot of like his days at Force India with Perez.
Yeah.
Because those two collided quite a few times.
They did.
It seems to be an Esteban thing that he likes hitting his teammates.
Yeah, but the thing is, why did he go for... why go for it when...
I from the onboard, I honestly think... I don't think he intended as much as... He was on the inside line, and I think the cars on the outside braked harder.
Yeah.
And he sort of found himself there. I know that probably sounds stupid.
He was kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but the trip over your own teammate, flip your car in the air, clearly did substantial damage because that car never returned to the race.
No, it didn't.
I dread to think what he did for the poor lad's spine as well, because he's not exactly got forgiving suspension in those things.
No.
And then we got the red flag, and it was like, well, as he started to dissect everything that had gone on, it was like, bloody Nora.
See, now, even the commentators were getting confused.
Yeah, because at the time, the cameras hadn't really... Because don't forget, the commentators only really see what we see.
No, it wasn't that. It was more when they were, what was noted, what was being investigated, what wasn't getting any further investigation, and all that lot.
Yeah, I think the FIA was struggling, to be honest with you. There was that much going on that quickly.
Yeah. But the thing that really...
Obviously, they red flagged it mainly because of the barrier the debris and the barrier damage
Oh, yeah.
the hill.
The thing that really pissed me off was the fact that the stewards made the decision for no further action against K-Mag for basically causing a collision.
Taking out 2 other cars.
Yeah, why? Why didn't he get done? Because they were quick enough to give fucking give Ocon a penalty, which is now transformed into a grid place penalty
It has it? Good.
for
'Cause
Canada.
I heard he'd been given a 10-second penalty, but that didn't really matter much to a car that's already
Yeah, it
retired.
didn't. But then they've given him a grid place penalty going forward for Canada. This is what
Right,
I mean.
okay.
There was inconsistency. Why the? I'm sorry, but Ocon's wasn't as serious as what K-Mag had caused, and
No,
I'm sorry.
Ocon only took himself out of the race.
Yeah, exactly. But sorry to the Haas fans here, but K-Mag, K-Mag was clearly trying to say Perez had seen him. Perez on the onboard shots, you saw Perez looking. But then he went to concentrate on. He looked, but then he must have thought that he's backed out. He's never going to go through that gap
Yeah.
because he was concentrating on Hulkenberg as well at that point because he could see Hulkenberg was behind him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, could Perez have given him a bit more room? But
Possibly,
but as the way, was it Jensen and oh god, who the hell was on the Skypod? Yeah, as they explained when they were showing you graphics, the way Perez wanted to go, Hulkenberg knew he was never gonna try it. So obviously, Perez had set himself up to carry on that trajectory.
But it's the natural trajectory of that hill.
Exactly.
It's not like he was weaving around the track. It's not like he was going somewhere you wouldn't expect.
No.
This is Monaco. This is the one place where drivers seem to be able to follow track limits, funnily enough.
Almost. But yeah. There wasn't a lot of that. But,
you know what I mean? It's like, to me, like I said, I'm willing to let it slide as a first corner incident with a severe telling off to K-Mag. But let's be honest, we all know the position K-Mag's in right now.
And the problem is, do you know what I instantly thought?
Go on.
As soon as he hit him and spun him, and that happened, I thought to myself, that's him with his race ban.
I know, I thought that's Ollie Behrman racing in Canada.
I thought, that's him with his race ban. But, fuck me, he got away with it.
But is it not like 12 months before them points start? So it's not like he's got away with it one race and he's in the clear. He's still on that knife edge.
Oh, yeah. He's still close to getting the ban, but I think that should have been banned. He should have been banned for that.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, we've never had a driver actually banned on totting up.
Been close.
We've had one driver banned from a race in the time I can recall.
What was that for?
Can you remember that one?
No, I can't remember that one either.
It was Grosjean for Spa in, what year was it? When he flew straight over the top of Alonso.
That's
when he basically forgot the brakes existed.
Oh, Christ.
What year was it? It was Spa. He crashed from the back, went straight. Obviously, searching Grosjean crash goes to Bahrain. Well, that's not the one I want for once.
Yeah.
2012.
Christ. So long.
He went straight over the top of Alonso, and I think took Hamilton out in the same move.
Christ.
And he actually got a race ban for that.
What the hell?
Well, that was back at the time when Grosjean had a bit of a reputation for doing stuff like that.
And probably there was less penalty points back then.
I don't think that system even existed back then.
Yeah.
I really don't think that. I think that system's been brought in a lot more recent years.
But yeah, I can't understand. I can't understand the stupid decision behind it. I mean, will Red Bull appeal? Would Red Bull appeal that?
I doubt it because the trouble is you wouldn't want to appeal it because let's be honest. There's two reasons to me why if I was Horner I wouldn't. Number one, what would getting K-Mag banned actually help Red Bull? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It wouldn't if it was their main championship rival and it would cause them to lose points or something, you might consider it. And the second reason I wouldn't is because if the shoe's on the other foot in any time in the future, you've got a precedent there you can throw at the FIA.
Yeah.
This is probably me thinking like a bit of an asshole, but you've got to at times like this. You get what I mean? If, say, something happened, Perez did something similar and was in front of the stewards, Red Bull could turn around and go, well, you never penalised K-Mag back at Monaco.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we looked through that document the other week, didn't we? Where they were supposed to make changes to the racing rules, but it had never been done.
Yeah.
So if you can set precedent, look, this has happened in the past, you have a far better chance of things going the way you want them to.
Hmm.
So yeah, to me, Red Bull could, you're right. But what would it achieve? What would they benefit?
Not a
Because
lot, really.
cars aren't going to pay for their car to be repaired.
No.
That's not how F1 racing works.
No. But
It's not like the insurance company's going to bump the premium up next year. That's not how this game works. They've just got to fix that car. That's motorsport.
I mean, honestly, looking at the state of Perez's car, it was like, what's fucked?
The only plus point is I reckon the engine might be all right. The gearbox possibly, as long as nothing's happened with where the drive shafts meet the back of the gearbox.
Hmm.
But basically, the shells are right. This is the shell, as you would call it, in a road car. You know, the frame.
The bodywork
suspension
is
was
a
all
write-off.
Yeah, it was all absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Pardon my language.
I mean, it was weird because when they picked the car up, you could see. I can't remember which car it was. One of the cars had something dangling off it while it was high up in the air.
It was one of the wheels that had come off, but the tethers had held.
Yeah, but it must have been that much of an impact for the fact that as many wheels came off as they did.
Well, you see, there was at one point the marshal clip, and there was a tyre, no rim inside it anymore, just a whole tyre.
Yeah.
So where the bloody hell's that rim disappeared to?
Exactly.
You know, we seem to be talking a lot about the first lap, folks, but let's be honest, that's not all we've got to bloody talk about.
Because that was the only bloody exciting bit, to be honest.
The only other thing I've got to mention is somehow Stroll managed to pick up a puncture on a set of new tyres.
There might have still been debris out on the track that they might have missed.
No, he clipped the barrier on the inside of the swimming pool.
Typical place.
Which, the one annoying thing is, because it got to that point, I was kind of wanting a safety car. I was kind of wanting that hand grenade.
Yeah.
And when that tyre came off but landed in the pit lane,
it
was like, oh, that'd have been 60. If that had landed anywhere on track, that'd have been a safety car to pick that up.
Yeah.
And that would have then caused a lot of pit stops, and I think would have really given us that shake-up that we needed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, other than that, like I say, we had 60 laps of not a lot, then what looked to be maybe revving up a little bit at the end and didn't really come to a lot.
No. And it was just... Like I say, I've heard rumours that apparently, I mean, this is applying to the calendar, not just Monaco, that certain tracks are getting rotated every so often.
Do you mean as in on the calendar, or as in you drive them backwards?
As in on the calendar. So, like we're losing Barcelona for Madrid next year.
Yeah.
I wonder if eventually Barcelona will come back on. One of the years. They'll all start alternating circuits. I mean, hell, if you're going to do that, fucking bring Hockenheim back in.
I was going to say, for years we had the German Grand Prix. Well, it used to be the German and the European, didn't it?
Yeah. But, I mean, well, I could say fair play on Yuki. More points.
Fair play to Albon.
Albon, points.
2 points for Williams. Yeah.
A point for Alpine.
Yeah, yeah, it may have been some consolation on that day. I still can't imagine the Alpine end of day was particularly friendly.
I bet. Well, we knew there was going to be fireworks for them two going in together anyways. And it's starting. Russell 5th. Hamilton 7th.
Russell 5th held on those old tyres.
Against Max.
Which, to be fair play to him, it just shows on Monaco how track position is critical.
I mean, Norris and all that lot. Norris, Charles, Oscar, Carlos and bloody Lando had fucked off at that point. They checked. I mean, towards the end.
Towards the end, they were getting back closer together again.
Well, Leclerc had checked out.
Like I say, we just needed, a safety car, or we just needed something to happen just to energise the back end of that race again, because it really did just settle into a procession.
Yeah. I mean, Sainz was thinking about getting Oscar, but
Oscar was revving up to try and have a go at Charles, and Lando was sort of watching what went on. It just came to nothing.
But it was nice to see Oscar actually get a podium.
Yeah. I would like to. I'm not unhappy about Charles winning Monaco. That is a nice...
It breaks his curse, finally.
Yeah. I'd love to see Oscar get a win this year. I think he would, especially now Lando's got that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Oscar get one.
I mean, okay, I'm sure Oscar won a sprint race, but...
He did. He's technically got a win to his name, but
it's
to win a full...
But it's we're talking full Grand Prix here.
Yeah.
Like Lando did at Miami.
So Charles has finally won his home Grand Prix.
Yeah, finally. And Hamilton picked up an extra championship point anyways for...
Fastest lap, because he put new tyres on near the end,
fastest lap. But I'm going to have a quick look before we move on to the Fantasy League, which I'm not looking forward to at all. Really not.
I must admit, I've actually already looked, and...
I'm not looking forward to looking.
I think we might be able to see something I don't think we've ever seen before. And I'll just leave that there for now. But
Max is still clear at the top of the...
Yeah. Well, clear. It's 31 points.
Yeah.
It's only a win and a small amount. That is not a comfortable gap this early in the season.
No, Norris is... catching.
25 behind. Sainz is another five behind him. 1 point back to Perez.
And Oscar's bumping himself up a bit.
Ollie Behrman's still sitting 12th.
Which I still find hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It says a lot when Logan Sargent is 21st of a 20-man championship.
Yeah. You've got...
Oh, 20 Americans listening. Well, come on, that is beautiful.
You've got two Saubers and one of the Williams that still haven't scored.
Which it's surprising me with Valtteri. You'd think if anybody could just sludge a point,
it would be Valtteri.
Valtteri used to be good at that.
Yeah.
Guan Yu, he's not a bad driver. I don't think he's quite at Bottas' level.
No. Well, you've got to think, Bottas has had the...
He's had the experience. But yeah, you'd think... I will be confident of him getting points by the end of this year, as long as that car doesn't totally fall off a cliff. I can't say the same for Sargent or Joe, unfortunately.
I don't know, though. Sometimes Guan Yu has looked quite racy, but...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would say he's more likely than Logan, but to be honest, I think it's more likely for you to win the upcoming season on the game than Logan Sargent to score a point, and that's saying something.
Hmm. But obviously, Ollie Behrman will get caught. Quite clear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I don't think he'll end up last,
No.
which I think is hilarious.
But obviously,
In
Ollie.
the Constructors' Championship, may I just add, things are looking a lot closer. Where Red Bull are only 24 points clear.
Yeah, I was about to look at the constructors. Yeah, they are, aren't they? And the problem is, even when we do the game, we've still got the top three. So basically, top three now, according to these standings, none of us can use Red Bull, none of us can use Ferrari. So that's you screwed, David. And nobody can use Ferrari, and that's Alan screwed.
McLaren, yeah, I know. And, oh well, we're going out in Alpines. Me and Alan are going to go out in Alpines and run into each other, keep it going.
But, yeah, no, I'm just...
Yeah, the only thing is, well, actually, looking at the other stats available here, 8 races in, only 2 races have Red Bull got the fastest lap.
What's that on?
Below teams, there's 24 DHL fastest lap.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, Bahrain.
And Japan.
Japan.
It's an interesting statistic when you think that Ferrari have had 2, Merc have had 2, Aston Martin have had 1, and McLaren have had 1.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe the Red Bull isn't as massively over the top as it was last year.
Because that's the thing, look. China's quite a power circuit.
I have a feeling that was a very late change of tyres for Fernando. Set us off near the end with not a lot of fuel in.
Yeah.
Like we used to do in the game if we were well clear.
Yep.
You'd watch me and Alan with 2 or 3 laps to go, chuck a set of softs on.
And just fastest lap competition between them.
Just go and do qualifying laps till the end of the race.
Yeah. And yeah, I just yeah. The words shit are about to probably spring to mind. Okay.
I don't know.
So obviously I've got to let people see what the hell's going on. So bear with me. Just while I quickly get that one up. I can't see the screen. Oh. Shit. Alan?
Have you worked out what I think we've never seen before?
Oh, he got hit fucking hard.
Have we ever had a minus number?
No.
That's what I said when I said to you, I think you're about to see something you've never seen before. I don't think I've ever seen one of us finish on a minus number before.
No, that hurt him.
I mean, I actually had not a bad...
Yeah, because he even got screwed because of Quali.
Magnussen.
Yeah, but Quali screwed him straight away.
Yeah, minus 15 points for being disqualified. For the team, wow, he lost 70 points.
65 points he lost.
From Haas.
Well, he would have lost 70 if they hadn't have got the 5 points on the overtaking bonus.
How did they get that?
Because they technically did overtake.
Surely when there's not 4 wheels on your car, you can't class it as an overtake anymore.
Yeah, but...
I am stupid.
But lucky for him, I think Lando Norris has pretty much saved his...
But if you go back, like I say, if you go back to the starting grid, they were at back, so they technically had overtaken...
okay, I don't know how that works fully, but I get what you're saying.
Well, they technically overtaken Zhou and Bottas. So that's where he's got his 5 points from. Just for the overtakes.
But apart from that, as I say,
He
I
got
thought to myself,
fucking screwed.
I don't think I'd ever seen a negative.
No, we've never. Even last year, we'd never seen a negative. Christ, do you know how many points Alan would have been walking away with
Go on.
if Hassan had done him the dirty?
Oh, if he'd have had his no negative card still to play or something like that,
Yeah,
imagine what good that would have done him this weekend.
yeah, it would have helped him.
Because he'd have got, what is it, 38, 49, 54, 77 points. There's 77 points in total there in positives.
Yeah, except.
And then he lost 98.
Ouch. I mean,
Which means in terms of all races, I'm not far from 500-point lead.
yeah, but didn't have a fucking great race,
No.
to be
No,
honest.
you didn't, did you? I mean, Danny Ricciardo let us both down.
Yeah, I got.
Other than that,
I got beat by.
his Ferrari was my big win.
Yeah, but like fucking Ryan there got screwed by Ricardo, but it got
All
screwed
screwed by Ocon.
by Ocon.
But his 2 points on always having Norris and Piastri in the McLaren
Yeah.
basically salvaged it.
Yeah, he'd have been better putting his he would have been better putting his 2 times on Oscar.
I would have been. Mine was still sat on Max.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes. You know,
Mine was sat on Max, and that was the problem. I'd have been better doing that as well.
if you remember, I used my automatic one on the one where Max didn't do well.
Yeah.
And he sort of worked really nicely. It was the race when I used my automatic on Australia
Yeah.
when Max didn't finish.
But like I say, looking at even you still got 2 points even for going use your.
Yeah, Ricardo scored me a 0.
Yeah, what? Why? Right. Danny, what the fuck happened?
Basically, he finished in the exact same position he started.
-2.
No, it's in
Qualified.
Italy, -2.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
Monaco, it's just literally 0.
Race position. Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't even overtake anybody either, did he?
No.
So it was like, fuck. I mean,
Yeah,
go on,
minus
you know,
19 points.
obviously, Guan Yu Zhou gained 2 positions. That's why you got 2 points, because he gained 2.
Yeah, I know. Albon qualified this and got him points, and he got 1 overtake.
Albon was 9th. His race position, he got 2-2. See, that's the thing that's what I don't understand.
Clearly, there must have been some move around. There must have been somebody he overtook, but then he got passed by somebody else later, I'd say. I'm not fully understanding it, but I can only go on.
No, but this is the thing I'm not understanding, because Albon's race position was 9th, yeah? He'd been given 2 points for it.
Because they give it, I think, on the same as championship points.
Right? But his qualifying position was 9th, and he got 2 points for it.
Yeah.
But because of that overtake, technically he should have only had 1.
I don't fully understand it.
But I'm wondering if
either way,
I've got it. Albon got the 2 points because he qualified within the top 10.
That's what I'm saying. To give him championship points, if you click on Piastri, he got 18 points for race position second. He got 9 points
For
so
qualifying.
The top 10 get points for qualifying in the
Yeah.
top 10.
So
And then we get race points at the end of the race.
Yeah, so that's why Ricardo's what he is.
He's
Because
outside the top 10.
yeah. Okay, I get
So,
that
yeah.
now. I get it.
But as once again, I win.
And it was just like, I mean, that fucking gap. I mean, that's not looking good for Alan. Alan's now at the bottom. Ryan's overtaken him.
Yeah, after a very slow start for Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's catching up.
He's not. Pretty much sure he's not really catching me. Well, I suppose he got over me on Emilia Romagna, but most of the time I'm still running ahead.
If you got to think, if he's overtaken Alan, Alan's had a shocker there.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a battle between. It's going to be. At the moment, I'm going to say it's a battle between me, Alan, and Ryan at this point.
What do you think? I'm starting to check out a little bit. It's way too early yet, but I know where you're coming from. I mean, like I say, I'm nearly 500 clear. And as it stands, I think I have generally a very strong hand.
That's what I mean. Because
I've said it before. We have so much overlap in our teams.
Yeah.
That the odds of me being able to get so massively ahead of you are slim, to say the least.
Well, yeah. But I still want to know how he managed to get Lando and Oscar in his team. It's crazy. How did Ryan get them? But yeah. See, if McLaren perform the way they do,
he's in a very good position.
He is in a good position. That's the problem. Whereas Alan took the risk with Haas, and it's really hurting
him this weekend, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a bit of money left over.
Alan's probably got the most out of all of us.
He has, yeah. Ryan's got over 2 million left.
Well, you've got 2.
Yeah, I know I have, don't worry.
He's got 2.1. And I've only got 1.7. Oh, it's like, yeah, Not going to call it just yet. But at the moment, Dave is quite comfortable.
It's way too early to be putting any.
No, but I'm saying you're quite comfortable at this moment. That's the problem. You're comfortable at the moment. It could
all change, though. It could all change.
Yeah, the problem is we've got me and you have got overlap.
A lot of to the point where, because let's be honest, we are both at the same point where Max is our main anchor.
Yeah.
We've both got Max. We've both got Albon. We've both got Oscar. So if
we've both got Danny Rick.
Danny Rick, yeah.
Yeah.
So if any of those have a major disaster, it hits us both.
Yep. It'll hit Ryan hard.
Yeah, but you know.
He's got Albon Ricardo as well.
Yeah. So all three of us could be taken out. In fact, there is actually zero overlap between Alan's team and ours.
No, there isn't. Alan's completely different.
So in a lot of ways, he could be in the better positions. Say, let's say Oscar and Max collide.
That's
me and you are in big trouble.
Me and you in big trouble. Ryan's
that could be somewhere
not.
Where the likes of someone like Ryan and Alan could suddenly find themselves gaining a massive advantage on us.
Yeah, because they've got Lando.
Yeah.
As a backup.
I've said it before, I like this year. I like the fact it's a bit tougher this year. There's a bit more decision making. I felt last year's was too easy. You seem to have too much money. You could put together an amazing team. This is taking a bit more finessing.
Well, clearly Ryan worked something out to get both bloody Lando and now Oscar. Jesus.
Yeah, but if me and you took Max out, not in that sense.
No, if we took Max from our team.
I mean, if I sort him by value, Max is the most expensive, and he's 5 million more than the second place.
Yeah.
So if we took that out, we could have Lando and Oscar, and have enough money left over probably for somebody like Perez or somebody a bit higher in our third car. We've just taken the plunge on Max because, let's be honest, he's a relatively safe bet.
Yeah, it is. Right. Is there anything you want to put towards me round out?
I just want to. Let's say I just want your thoughts on what could be done about Monaco. What could you do with Monaco? I've said my piece earlier. I think it needs to come off the championship, make an exhibition weekend.
Like I say, give them go-karts.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly.
Or even better, get them to race boats.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, no, give them go-karts. Or if you want to do something really fucking stupid, give them bikes. Push bikes.
No, wasn't that how Danny Rick got badly hurt before the championship one year?
Well, yeah, I suppose. And
God,
Lance Stroll.
Why do I get the vision that they'd just be the same as this weekend? You'd get K-Maga crashing away on a bike and end up doing with broken arms or something stupid.
Yeah. No, give them go-karts. They make it more entertaining. Be shorter.
And we're out to Canada next, eh?
Yeah.
Is it silly timings for us as well?
No. We are probably back, I think. Oh, shit. Yeah, no. Ooh.
Yeah, race is 7 o'clock at night. Qualifying is 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's not what I would class as a silly.
Well, no, you know what I mean, though. It's not like a nice middle of the afternoon.
No, it's not. But it's not.
It might interfere with your streaming, though.
It just might.
Speaking of which, if you're listening to this on day of release, which is Wednesday, feel free to join us tonight when we are streaming the F124 game.
On Twitch.
On Twitch. Twitch.tv/GameTimeUK+. Link will be below. You know, obviously the game is out early access for pre-order people. I believe it's yesterday, as you'll be listening to this. So we are going to be. I don't fully know what we're doing yet. Whether we're doing a championship, whether we're just doing celebrity exhibition racing. But we're going to be checking the new game out, and with the usual hijinks and bullshit from, as it stands, I think, just me and Chris. That's certainly the best I know as of the time of recording. Alan, if you're available to join us, we'd welcome you, buddy. But yeah, feel free to join us for that.
And the game actually releases on the 31st to anybody.
Yeah.
Is it 30th or 31st?
31st one is we get 3 days.
So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, okay, so it's Friday.
And that's
31st.
not. I don't get the idea. This isn't because we do this or because we've got anything to do with F1. We've just bought the pre-order version.
We both pre-ordered the Championship Edition. Well, all three of us pre-ordered the Champions Edition.
We're not getting some special off Codemasters or anything here. This is not sponsored.
No.
Codemasters, if you would, after some of the shit we've said about you in the past, I mean, contact us. But yeah, feel free to join us. Say, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, tonight, if you're listening after that, check out Twitch. The VOD will be up there. And you'll probably end up going to YouTube at some point.
They will be going
afterwards.
over to YouTube as well. It's going to be interesting, is all I'm going to say. It's probably
good because it's a long time since I've played any games like that, so it could be interesting for me as well. And I'm deliberately going into it a little bit blind just to see what happens.
I think the last time I had a mess around with F1, any F1 game, was last month. But that was only
Oh, mine's longer than that, but yeah, I told you my PS4 hadn't been turned on. I turned it on yesterday to do the download. I had to do a system update first.
Yeah, well, that's about usual. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, we don't know what we're going to be doing. And
like I say, we probably are going to try and do a full championship. We normally try and do that if they haven't absolutely screwed us over with league things again.
I think to be honest, I think the league system on that will be the same.
I honestly do, which if it is means we're going to have to do it a different way, but we can make it work.
But apart from...
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, apart from that, my final thoughts on Monaco was snooze fest.
Unfortunately, yes. As I said to you beforehand, and I will say this, I'm really glad the BTCC was on that weekend. At least I could switch over to some motorsport with a bit of action involved.
Yeah, it was. I never understand why the organisers keep it on. Yes, it's the money. That's what that is. It's the money.
What it is, isn't it? And it's one of them things. If you stopped it, you'd never be able to do it again. You'd never get that off the ground again.
No, but they just. There's not a lot they're ever going to be able to do in Monaco.
No, I agree with you.
That's the problem. It was 1929 was the first Monaco.
Yeah, it's short of trying to flatten buildings and try and fill in an ocean. They've not got a lot of room to do anything.
Yeah, they never will. And this is a problem.
Well, at least we get the joy of Canada next, which is, is a circuit I adore. When my tyres hold out.
Yeah.
I mentioned that before you did, because you never let me forget that moment.
That's where you damaged my front wing.
Yeah, when I literally drove mine till the tyre came off.
Exactly. It's kind of a shame because we're nearly, next half of the season we head to Monza and stuff like that.
We've actually got a great run of circuits coming. I mean, Spain, Austria, GB, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy. That's a run of good circuits.
Yeah. But
Azerbaijan 50-50, Singapore.
Well, the good run of circuits starts from Canada, basically.
Yeah, I love I love Canada. I think not Albert Park, Australia, the Gilles Villeneuve circuit is brilliant.
But yeah, we're going to end this one here. So obviously, thank you to everybody for listening. Don't forget to come check out the YouTube channel as well. Obviously, the Twitch. Links for them at the top. Obviously, thank you to David for joining.
It's a pleasure as always. Thank you for having me.
And we shall see you for the next one, which will be after Canada. So, until then.
So long, and thanks for the moose.
Goodbye for now.